going on, Jerome's? So, Kirk Jerome Ezekiel Cousins, yes, his free agency is basically going to dictate what the Vikings do in their own free agency or the draft. If Kirk leaves or if he stays, it's going to affect things. And also, what he chooses to do is going to reverberate around the league. Whether Kirk is back, whether Kirk is gone, whether Kirk signed somewhere else, big-time impact in other teams in their offseason plans as well. And Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, Local Smokey, hashtag one of us, working his way up. He dropped a little bit of knowledge about the Vikings situation ahead of the Super Bowl. Talk about Sam Darnold. Okay, so Sam Darnold, not only is he a meme, he was out with the greatest illness of all time. Fully understand that. But when you say Sam Darnold, you don't think about him at USC, where he dominated, where he was a stud, right? Where he was seen as the next Andrew Luck because he's got the size and the arm and the fortitude and the mobility and the cocksure attitude, and like he just refused to lose. And then got taken by the Jets, and then the Jets just sucked the life out of him. Is basically what happened. And last year he was the backup for... Weird to say last year when the season just ended yesterday, but last year was the backup for Brock Purdy in San Francisco. Now, if Sam Darnold was in the game instead of Brock Purdy, do the Niners win? I mean, Sam Darnold would have handed off really good instead of not running the ball in the second half. Shanahan, come on, man. But Vikings Insider compiled this. Tom Pelissero on the Vikings' current quarterback situation, quote, "They would like to re-sign Kirk Cousins, who is set to become a free agent in March, but my anticipation is Cousins will have a strong market, even at age 35, coming off a torn Achilles. Minnesota is examining all options in the event that Cousins ends up landing elsewhere. If, in fact, the price tag goes too high, the Vikings likely would pursue a more economical veteran. One guy who is a possibility, Sam Darnold, the 49ers' current backup. Hope that veteran becomes this year's Baker Mayfield, while also buying them time to develop a rookie quarterback." And just reading through the tea leaves, it feels like the Vikings, even if they trade all the way up, like they want to take time to marinate and develop a rookie quarterback. They just don't want to throw him out into the wolves. And yes, you could have a spot where you have C.J. Stroud, which is fantastic, but you could also have a Bryce Young situation. And Bryce Young being broken as a rookie, I mean, that may really set him back in terms of his NFL career, and it may just completely end it, just over, right? But when you say Sam Darnold, I mean, it's tough to get hyped, but also you do understand what is going on with Sam Darnold. And Pelissero mentioned trying to find the next Baker Mayfield, where Baker had been passed around the league and eventually ended up in the Buccaneers, was seen as the bridge guy, and frankly played phenomenal, and probably is playing himself into some significant money. And I fully understand Darnold and the Jets, adding another chapter to the dumbest rivalry in sports history. But I would rather Darnold at like $5 million versus if Cousins leaves and then paying Baker $45. And I do agree what Pelissero's thinking right now, where it feels like the Vikings were like, "Hey, Kirk, we would love to have you back, but only for X number of dollars and X number of years. If you can get more, peace out, and then we'll go from there." And I do think that if they do sign Sam Darnold, like it wouldn't be for him to be the guy. Like, it's not going to be a multi-year deal. It's not going to be a big-time contract. In fact, it'll probably be a one-year prove-it deal laden with incentives. But I just don't see them rolling into the season. I think they will make a move to find a rookie quarterback. But with Darnold, he is only 26 years young, because he entered the draft as a true junior at 20. He's only 292 days older than Jaren Hall. So he's a less than 1 year older than Jaren Hall, who was a rookie last year, and Darnold is heading into year 7 of his career, man. But he's 6'3", 225, star at USC for 3 seasons, was the number 3 overall pick by the Jets 2018, and he just wasn't good with the Jets. Where Bowles, Todd Bowles was the head coach his rookie season. Eventually he got washed out, and then Adam Gase came in, and Adam Gase is Adam Gase, man. But 78.6 quarterback rating, 45-39 career touchdown interception ratio, 13-25. Hashtag QB wins as a starter, and it was just not good. Eventually he went to Carolina for 2 seasons, and he was a spot starter. He did lead a 96-yard drive and a 2-point conversion when they were down 8 against the Vikings, forcing overtime. But eventually the Vikings won with the KJ Osborne walk-off. It was good times, man. But last year he was Brock's backup for $4.5 million. And in terms of if the Vikings do bring him in the pantheon of free agent quarterbacks, I mean, you could do worse. Certainly. And Darnold, like we said, is 26, going to be 27 over the offseason. But, I mean, if the Vikings are looking for a young guy with some upside, sure. I mean, would you rather Darnold or Drew Lock? Darnold. Would you rather Darnold or Huntley? Kind of a toss-up. Darnold or Josh Dobbs? I mean, Darnold, even though the Passionate was a lot of fun for a hot second. So I understand what the Vikings are doing in this spot. So if it's a spot where, hey, we're going to sign a youngish bridge quarterback, and then we're going to go try and draft a quarterback of the future. And with that youngish bridge quarterback, like maybe he can become a Baker Mayfield like last year. And because it's such a copycat league, like when Brock Purdy was at the back end of this, Mr. Relevant in the 7th round, I was like, hey, let's just take a day 3 quarterback and it'll work out. Or now, with Baker Mayfield trotting around the league and then having a 1-year prove-it deal and then hitting it, former high draft pedigree, I mean, teams are going to take a shot on a guy like Sam Darnold now. Now, do I think that Darnold is an appreciable upgrade over Nick Mullins? Not necessarily. I feel like Mullins, I mean, the passing game with Mullins looked as good as it did. It looked the best outside of Kirk, last year, and that makes sense. Mullins, who is a veteran, 28 years young, as well as he's been in the offense for 2 years. And now, if you could just cut down on the turnovers and stupid mistakes, you'd be good to go. But I do feel like Mullins and Darnold are the same guy. Like maybe a little bit slight edge to Darnold, given that I think that his ceiling is higher, and of course Kwesi loves him some "Mama, I can change him" type players. So I don't know, man. Like. Right away when I heard Pelissero talking about that, I was just like, I don't know. That's not going to play well in Peoria. But in terms of a guy that you can get dirt cheap, like if Kirk can get like 3 years, $45 million per year, almost fully guaranteed on the market, deuces. And then the Vikings, I mean, they would be in a spot where they could and should trade up and secure their quarterback of the future. And then if you bring in a guy like Sam Darnold on a cheapish deal, maybe with some incentives if he starts, that would make sense. So then it would be rookie TBD, Darnold, Mullins, Jaron Hall, just getting after him. And also, you've seen the value of the backup quarterback this year with so many injuries. So a guy like Darnold who probably could hold down the fort. It probably has some upside too, and maybe he was just in really terrible situations with the Jets and Carolina. You're just like, okay, we can work with this, but we'll see what happens, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, says that all options are on the table for the Vikings, including Sam Darnold. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But next time, Skol Production Value.